It's wonderful to see you all here.
It certainly is.
This evening, we had a change of schedule because we did have Veronica King and Vanessa
Guthrie from At Start Now that were meant to come on this evening.
But unfortunately, they're not feeling well. I think one and the other shared a cold, and so it didn't really work out really well for them and for us. However, quick to turn around, we said, okay, then we've got someone who we wanted to provide you with their information and support you in terms of developing your business.
Exactly.
And if we are transparent, we would say that we have garnished her services to help us to develop to the next dimension. And we, as I've said to someone recently, when I get information, I like to share it. So we want to share it with you. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce you to Monica Bell of Gray's Associates and
Business Advisor.
Okay. Yeah. So hello.
Good evening, Monica. Welcome. Come on in.
welcome. You know, I wanted to do this a little time ago, but we're sort of booked up until the 1st of November.
Yes.
And I was dying to find a space. And fortuitously, unfortunately as well, this space has arrived. And I said, first thing I did, as soon as I heard our guests weren't able to make it, I gave Monica a call straight away.
Yes, I think people are going to really get great nuggets of information from you, Monica. So welcome to you, and thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Now, I would say that from the start, I would let you ask the first question.
Okay. Well, I want to big up Monica a little bit more because this is a lady that has a lot of experience, which we're going to share with you as we do week by week. But this lady here can truly help you move forward with your business. Okay. So I'm going to start on the opposite of you and say, Monica, welcome. And who are you? Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Right, obviously you all know my name, and you all know my company name as well. So to sort of tell you a bit about me, I've been involved in business for, as you've mentioned, over 25 years. I have run my own companies. I'm also an accredited advisor. I have worked with a range of different businesses over the years, and what can I say? I mean, I love giving business advice. I love helping people who want to set up in business. My companies over the years I've been involved with a recruitment business. I've set up a recruitment company. I've set up a graphic and web design business. My last business was a medical residential care business, which I ran for 10 years. I made a few million here and there.
Modestly.
And just really sort of now looking at sort of supporting our community and really helping people that want to get back, want to start a company, basically to help you with the different things that you might need in different areas. So you could say I'm very solutions driven. I'm very creative, but I'm also a person that's very structured and organized. I like to plan, and I'll come back to that a bit later.
We'll follow on back.
Planning is essential to being successful in business, and certainly the basics. We start with business plans, which will, generally speaking, allow you to access funding, help you to determine the viability of your business, and really just give you that confidence that you need to know that what you're about to do basically can actually sort of work, essentially. So that's really quite important. That's obviously the basics, but most importantly, it's teaching you the skills that you need to run your business effectively. So, as I said, happy to discuss a few more things. Came on this evening at Hughes and Law's request, and keen to sort of see how I can help our community move forward with their business ideas, but working with them at the minute. And what can I say? BBR, wow, What an amazing organization. I am so incredibly excited to be part of the sort of situation here, trying to work with and move the company forward for everyone, basically.
Oh,
I'm
wonderful.
going to urge you all, let's really get behind BBR. Let's get BBR working. Awards evenings are coming up. Expos are coming up.
Oh, yes.
Zoom events.
Not too soon.
Lots
to come.
Lots to come. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I would say to you all that we have been modeling through the day-to-day, trying to make it work and see how it works. And it takes someone who's a strategist, someone who's a planner, to actually make you see what you want to do and can tell you and translate your vision into reality. That was the key element. And when we spoke to Monica, our first conversation, we both looked at each other like, she's interviewing. We never asked her to interview. And it has just been an ongoing. So, it's been a real pleasure to have you on board to help us. So the reason why I was desperate to have you to come on board was to get our members to actually see, what are the things that you can help them with. So if we can, let us talk about, let's go back a little bit and say, why were you interested in business?
Oh, my God. That's an interesting question. Just something I enjoy doing. I think just a natural flair, I guess. I've always just had a natural desire to be involved in business, to run my own companies. I will say that in my view, when you work for other people, you're limited. Okay, I don't want to go into too much detail on that. It can, that sort of, how far can you go? For me, I realized very early on that there were going to be some limitations. So it was very much about being able to sort of, I guess, determine my own destiny. Okay. And I love the thrill and the excitement. I do actually enjoy the whole risky aspect, albeit in a calculated fashion. I'm going to keep going back in that sense. You don't do things just like that. You have to think about what you're doing. But I do actually enjoy that whole sort of, will it happen? What to do next? The whole sort of process of getting a business moving. But I think it's just in my character. I think I'm just sort of entrepreneurial. Family, dad was into business. Mum was a bit of an entrepreneur in her own way as well. She was doing sort of property development before most people knew what it actually meant.
Yeah, we knew what it was.
She'd fix them up, we'd move to the next, she'd fix them up and move to the next. So we did that for a number of years when we were growing up, to be honest. So I think whether I don't know, I think there's just a culture in my family of, we go out there and try and make it happen. If you want something, you work hard, you focus. Yeah. And you plan, and you can, generally speaking, you can achieve a hell of a lot, right? People say, oh, people are stopping me. There's reasons for not doing this, reasons for not doing that. The main reason is yourself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So to go back to you, obviously, where did obviously Mum was a catalyst for you, all right? But where did your passion come from? Did you have a natural ability for business or helping people?
That first energy that said, I'm going to do business and not work for someone else. That moment. Did you identify that?
I just think it's just in my character. I'm fairly competitive, but with myself, I don't tend to sort of look at others and think, oh, I must compete with you. It's more a case of how good can I be and how good can I get. And when I'm put into situations where someone says, well, you can't, or this is as far as you can go, that's one of these kind of things I don't really like terribly well. Yeah. It doesn't start with me. When you are an entrepreneur, you can go as far as you want. It's that freedom. It's that sense of, right, okay, I'm going to go out there and do what I want to do, and I'm going to do it the way that I'd like to do it. And it's just, I guess it's just a natural inclination. And I would say that as an entrepreneur, you have to be fairly sort of I wouldn't say, you take risks, but they're calculated risks. So even though you want to go and do things, you plan it, you organize it. So entrepreneurs are structured people. They're thinkers, okay, and they think about things in quite a lot of detail often. So that's kind of a skill set I think that's very, very important. If you're running a business already, often you need to look at what to do next. You need an entrepreneurial approach to it sometimes. So one has to look at different markets, different opportunities, diversification, expansion, growth, all those kind of things. Yeah. So it's entrepreneurs are what I call creatives, but in a business sense. Okay.
So from that point of view, as being an entrepreneur, you have just started your business, but what were you doing just prior to that business? And what made you make that transition again?
I like helping people. That's the bottom line. Okay. My driver, and I know it sounds a bit strange, but my main driver in everything that I've ever done has always been any business I've been involved with, and the success of what I've been involved with has always been the premise has always been, I want to help. I want to support. I want to encourage. I want to motivate. When someone turns around to me and says, thank you, that means a hell of a lot to me. When I see somebody achieving, that means a lot to me. And I don't like there to be barriers. To me, everybody has an opportunity. Everybody should be given that opportunity to grow, to develop, whether you're black, white, purple, orange, that I don't differentiate. If you turn up and you say, I want to go and do something with my life, and I want to make, I want to set up my own business and to be able to determine my own fate. I love that. I'm committed. I want to really make it happen. I like to motivate people. I like to encourage people. I'm pragmatic, and I will tell you the truth. I will say, look, you know what? I think we need to consider this. We need to review that. We need to think about this, whatever. But generally speaking, it's about how we can do things and how to make something happen. So I'm very solutions orientated. In my view, it's very important.
Okay, so I'll ask a question. So obviously you have worked within the business industry for very many years, and then you mentioned obviously you have built successful companies within that time. So what was your first should I say success in business, and also in building that successful business?
And also a failure that is also a growth.
Yeah,
because recognizing failures, or let's say not so successful, and learning from that is a growth. So the two.
I recognized somebody there. Somebody I knew a long time ago. Basically, I started off my very first business. I was 26. It was a recruitment company, and I went into partnership with 3 other people, it was definitely a huge learning curve because I was quite young. I had absolutely no idea, how it was all going to sort of pan out. As it so happens, you could say I came along with I had clients, people that were, keen to follow me wherever I kind of went. So we hit the ground running basically, and I can say that within 2.5 years or so 3 years, I think it was, we were turning over 2.5 million. Okay.
Wow.
I subsequently sold my shares in that, made some money from that naturally. Wasn't sure what else to do, but I'm going to be honest, I had with my partner at the time, he was running an interesting graphic design, so I got involved in that type of business, just really to help him move it forward. It wasn't my type of business model as such, but hey, you do what you do, don't you, when you're with somebody. So we did that for a time. If you like, working with your actual partner, and I'm going to be honest with everybody this evening, is pretty difficult. Okay, it's not the easiest.
Sometimes it can be. Sometimes.
As much as you love them, you don't necessarily love them 24 hours a day. Right? So you need space, especially if you're of a certain type, and we happen to be of a similar type in certain ways. But I guess it's just very much about how one can communicate and collaborate and things. And I think in a business setting, you need to have boundaries, whether you're in a relationship or not. And it's very difficult sometimes to maintain that. The home thing gets involved with the work thing. And it's not good for the staff. It's not good for you. It's just not good for your relationship. So I said, okay, I'm off, as one does, to do something different. And I went to work in an enterprise agency for 7 years. I went to work for an organisation called East London Small Business Centre.
Okay.
And I worked there for 7 years. I basically provided business support to over 3,000 people. I helped people from all different backgrounds. I mean, there were individuals that were unemployed to people that were working in the city. I mean, one of my clients in particular, I remember she was a stockbroker and she just absolutely hated her job. She couldn't stand it. And she came into the room and she sat down, Monica, I want to set up a bakery. I'm like, excuse me? And she goes, I want to set up a bakery. I said, but you realise that whatever bakery you set up, you're not going to earn as much money as you would as a stockbroker. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
As the best will in the world, it's unlikely to happen. So we talked about it, but she was absolutely adamant. So we started the process of putting the business plan together, because believe it or not, even though she was a stockbroker, highly qualified, intelligent lady, she had never done one of those put something like that together. So she just didn't know where to start. And also even the confidence of working on your own, because when you can work for other people, and you can even get to quite a high level, senior level. Most people still find it very daunting, the idea of leaving a secure position, particularly if it's more senior. Sometimes the more senior you get, the more difficult it is to leave. And going into self-employment, that is a pretty tough call for a lot of people who have had security of income. So there's a lot of confidence building even in that situation that was required. So the work I do is very holistic. It's about looking at the whole, not just the business and the business plan. I need to understand who you are to help you bring out the best in you for your business and your business ideas. So what can I say? That's pretty much it, really.
You equated relationship with business. They kind of mirrored each other, but there came a point in which they had to be separated in order for you to breathe.
Correct.
And that's very fascinating, because not many people equate that, because you think that you're in business and it's 9 to 5, and in a relationship it's not a 9 to 5, because that's what it is. A business is a relationship, a different type of a relationship. So it's really good to see that, to tell people, to let people explore that, because that's a truth that we don't explore too much.
That's right. Well, the thing is, with me, I've been in pretty much all different types. I've worked on my own. I have worked in a business relationship with my actual partner, and I've also worked in a business partnership with other partners. So I know and understand the dynamics and the complexities of that sort of situation, and essentially how to support people in those situations as well. If you're considering it, how to start looking at how you work with one another to make sure things gel, and to be respectful, essentially, of the fact that you are professionals in your own right, irrespective of whether you are in a relationship. You have to be able to differentiate. You have to be able to put that I am in a relationship thing behind you when you walk through that door and into that.
The professionalism has to step up.
Two separate people again, and you have to focus in that way. It's difficult to do.
I was going to say that I could see that being quite a difficult thing to do.
It is.
Quite literally, flicking, from husband and wife, who's cooking the dinner, to right, okay, you didn't send that email, you haven't done that, we need to do this.
I guess it's also how you run your business as well, and taking a sort of roles and a job description and being clear who's responsible for what, and actually setting it up in very much the same way that you would as though you weren't in a relationship. It's thinking about it from that point. And so when you do leave, again, you say to each other, darling, we are now leaving. We have to now leave some of these problems behind. Okay, it's hard to do, but if you practice it, and it does require practice. I can't say that that we ever managed it, because I moved on, but reality. But at the same time, it can be done. People do. I was a lot younger then. I mean, I'm not being horrid, but if you sort of said to me, "Can you do that now?" The answer is absolutely. I would.
I think in terms of supporting our viewers now, let's just talk about the business of the business, which is, I'm coming to you for the first time. I've got this great idea, and I think it's going to be, you know, earth shaking and everything else. Where do we go from that moment? Yeah, what do we do? How do you translate that to getting it done? Yeah, how do you work with me with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So generally speaking, I would sort of, first of all, I'd like to get to know a bit more about you. Okay. For me, it's very much about who you are as individuals, because we need to make sure that to a certain extent you've got the right skill sets. Okay. And the right drivers, if you will, in terms of what you want to do. Okay. So we need to be clear that you've got the skills or where you may be lacking. The next thing, I guess, is generally speaking, market research. We talk about that as though it's, you know, why do I need to do it? You need to understand whether what you're about to do is likely to work or not. So we would talk about the market, the type of business, sort of the customers, you know, essentially where you are likely to try and position your company. How are you going to position your company? Sorry. So we're looking at the market. We then begin to moving towards things like planning. We start talking about business planning. We start also to talk about funding, how much money we're likely to need and things. I'm rushing through the whole process, by the way, because we've only got an hour. We would actually spend a bit of time on each one. We would really start to look at who your customers are, where your customers are, what kind of customers, you know, who you're going to sell to, essentially.
Basic demographic.
Socioeconomics, yes. Don't want to use this sort of words. I'm going to keep it sort of straightforward.
Socioeconomics. There you go. Right.
People, remember what we always tell you about getting your notepad and pen. I ain't time now. Go and get it.
Because some of us might know that, but we take it for granted, don't we? So we have to start engaging ourselves with those.
I mean, how I tend to do things, I take a no nonsense, you know, sort of approach. I mean, I'm very, very just pragmatic. As I say, I come from an entrepreneurial background. It's looking at what you need to do. Okay, we identify what you need to do. So if at this stage, it just might be, as I said, training for some people, because some people might not actually have the skills they need. And we may have to review that situation with them. Or it might just be that we look at their market, we talk about their market and whether what they are thinking of doing can actually potentially work. Potentially at this stage, it's always And then we look at things like market research questionnaires. For some certain types of business, we would maybe put together a market research questionnaire, a very important document, guys. And we will be sending one of those out to you soon. And we're going to ask you kindly, you know, complete it. It's very, very important to help tailor and make sure that the service and the business, the service, sorry, is being the service you're offering, sorry, is one that can actually people can actually will be of use to your customers, basically. So we need you to answer the.
We need your views, basically.
Yeah.
I'm digressing a bit here. You have to excuse me. I'm thinking of BBR at the minute.
We are thinking about you. We want you
to. So then we move on to business plans. After that, we then start to produce a business plan. As I said, that will help us determine the viability, help you to structure, and also help you to access funding. Okay. Without a business plan, you are unlikely to get funding from anywhere. Sorry.
Okay, can we just stop there for a minute? Can I just stop there for a minute? Right, we're going to go back to it. I promise. Would it be advisable to review your business plan on a regular basis? So not just that I've come in to speak to you to start a business, you know, I want to have, you know, this idea that I've got, and you are telling me, okay, let's do the business plan, but someone else is already in business. Would it be beneficial to that person to actually review their business plan? And how frequently?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I guess it's a working document. So we're looking at once a year at the very least, possibly even more. I mean, if you feel that 6 months into your business, everything you've written, a lot of what you may have written in your business plan is completely offline, you've got to go back to that. You've got to go back to the document. The business plan is a guide. It's a workbook. It really does help you keep focused in terms of where you're going and what you want to achieve. Okay, it makes a big difference to not having one. I mean, if you haven't got one, you'll go like this often. You kind of, you know, it's like that. That's the kind
of the water flows.
Truly, with a business plan, you know, everything is considered. Your budgeting is considered. Your marketing is considered. Your staffing is considered, how the staffing is made up is considered, your financials are properly reviewed. You know how much money you're going to make, you know what sort of money you're likely to lose, you know exactly how much money you're going to need, you know, in terms of to get the business going. But the most important thing, one of the most important things, it gives you confidence. At the end of that document, at the end of that process, you will feel, or should feel, confident in what you're about to do. Okay.
Right.
And that's really a big part of sitting in front of someone and saying, may I borrow some money, please? Because you need to have the confidence to present that document and to answer questions on it.
Answer that question, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So that's a big factor. That's for my startups, by the way. For my existing companies, I do all sorts of things. But with existing companies, just moving a little bit to that side, it's about looking at where you are now and doing maybe an audit, doing a review of what you're doing, and looking at what other sort of markets you can go into, where you might be able to diversify or expand. Sometimes you've got to review what you're doing at the moment, a minute, and say, why is it not working? How can I do it differently? How can I do it better? Have you got HR issues? Have you got IT issues? Do you need a new website? You know, you need to take stock. When you're running your own business, often, and I'm going to say this, you don't have time to take stock. Most, especially when it's only a sole trader or a small business.
Yeah.
So someone like myself, you see on a regular basis, we take stock. We take position on where you are, what you need to do next. Is this working? Is this not working? Do we need to create a marketing strategy to really help you really push your sales forward?
Yeah.
You need to review your HR. Have you got issues going on there that you need to really resolve? You know, and how do you do it?
So you're there to drill down really and look at all these areas where the business owner might not have that time, as you said, to do that. You know what, guys?
I have done it all. I'm not being horrible, but in reality, I've been there, done that, worn that t-shirt.
So you know, in terms of what you're saying there, I think it's not been said before to that degree that someone can be there for you to help you, almost like holding your hand to say, okay, then this is where you need to go, and keep you there. Because when you're on your own, you're on your own, and decisions you make are based on what you know at the time. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just what you know at the time when you're trying to survive. But when someone like you comes along and says, okay, this is where we need to take stock of, that helps you to keep the direction and also to focus on what you're doing and what's coming next.
I mean,
I'm just going to go to somebody that's just written something in regards to Monica. Yes, Monica, I have had my business for 20 years as a result of this woman's support and drive over the years. Thank you for being online. I mean, you know, we will share other comments that have been coming in as well. So obviously, you know, people are aware of this wonderful lady. So, you know, we try to bring you the best and to try, you know, bring some people that will help you move forward, whether you're in existing business or startup. And again, we brought yet again another expert in their field right here tonight to help you on your way.
So now that we're getting back to the business of my business that I've just come up with this brilliant idea. So I've now got someone who's helping me with the plan, the strategy, what next? Because boy, I'm a broke, you know, and I need some money. And how are you going to help me with that?
Because I've got.
Can you help me with that?
So what we've got, there are two options depending on the nature of your business. So if we are a social enterprise, okay, for lack of a better word, there are different types of social enterprises. There are what we call SICs, which are community interest companies, or what people are now being asked to set up, you know, more these days, which are community interest organizations.
Right.
Okay. So if you are a social enterprise, we would look at grant funding options for your business. There are different streams of funding out there that we could potentially apply for. You have to write your business plan, but you have to write a proposal as well as part of that process. If you are sort of doing a private limited company, we would be looking mainly at private funding from banks, obviously. So you've got different types of loans out there. There's a British bank that have a number of organizations supporting existing businesses.
Wait, you said British Bank. What's that?
Yeah. What is that?
So the British Bank is an organization that was set up by the government to support existing businesses at the moment access funds because of the pandemic and COVID-19. So it's about giving them that extra help to move forward. So it's loan funding, it's not grant funding, unfortunately. But it's still good.
You have to pay it back,
You have to pay it back, absolutely. But it's not quite as onerous as if you went to Barclays all the way, to put it that way. Albeit, I'm not saying that they've got their place too. So there's different types of funding. I'm just going to say there's venture capital funding, business angel, and we have what we call patient capital, which is your friends and your family. My goodness.
Yeah.
Well, which they call it patient because it takes some time sometimes to get the money back. So
to get that money back.
but basically, it's just a terminology. So there's different types of funding we can look at accessing, from £10,000, obviously plus beyond that sort of figure. So in my time, I've helped people raise 10,000, 50,000. Personally, I raised 66 when I was doing my particular business thing. So, I say we can look at, again, helping you access funding from different sources. And the business plan is, going back to all the time, I'm terribly sorry to say it, guys, is the main tool. Without it, they will not be looking at that. There are templates out there where you can produce a very quick plan. I do not believe in that.
Oh,
Okay.
Why not?
Why? Yeah.
Because it doesn't cover it in enough detail. It does not help you to actually run your business. It meets a particular need. By that I mean you tick the quick boxes, you do the plan, you've got a 3 or 4, a 5-page document mainly on the financials, but there's no real substance. If you want your business to survive and you want things to work, you need to take a little bit of time and do things properly, which means going through it in detail. Now, when I say that, it's no different to writing an essay, no different. So no different to doing a dissertation. Sorry, if you can do a dissertation, why can't you write a business plan?
Okay, that's another way to put it as well.
Okay.
So really drill down. What you're saying is your business plan, by the time you have completed it, that is the golden document, the manual that is telling you, this is what I'm going to do next month, next year, this is how much I'm going to earn, this is everything.
Absolutely. So what I would very quickly add, your short, medium, long-term objectives for every business. That's one of the key things you've got to sort of remember right from the beginning. Is what's your short-term goal, year 1, medium-term goal, year 2 to 4, longer-term goal, 5 to 7. What is your exit strategy? Where are you taking this business? What do you want to achieve long-term on a personal level, but also for the business itself? Because the business is a separate entity. There's you, and then there's the business, right? So you can't, one doesn't blend the two. And you don't get emotional, if you can help it, about it either. A lot of people do. It's my baby. Yes and no. It's your baby when you first get it going, but eventually it becomes and should become its own person. Okay.
Its own entity.
We're looking at growth. We're looking at selling it to somebody else in the future. And then hopefully you'll go on and do something else and set something else up. So that's the entrepreneurial approach anyway. An entrepreneur doesn't really care what they set up as long as it's an opportunity and they can make it work.
Yeah.
Something that they're going to hopefully enjoy having a go at doing. Because business is business. The fundamentals is always the same.
So when you said thinking about the exit strategy, okay, I'm thinking, well, I don't know what do you mean, right? If you're saying to me, I've got to do my business plan and make sure everything's in place, 1, 3, 5, 7. Why am I thinking about an exit strategy? Can you explain that?
When I've got legacy on my mind, because I don't probably want to.
Yeah. So we have exit strategies for different reasons. For some people, it's because they're just in it to make as much money as possible and then to kind of sell and move out. Exit strategies usually involve making a business look as profitable as possible for the sort of 7 years or so that you might run it, and then you kind of hopefully achieve all the targets, particularly the financial ones, and then sell it on. Okay. Other exit strategies might just be that, as you said, you want to leave it as a legacy to a member of the family. So you start looking at what we call succession planning, which is very fundamental in any sort of business situation, because things can happen. Things change, one of you could get ill, both of you could, and then what happens next? You need to think about succession planning.
So tell us a little bit more about that succession planning. What does that involve?
Okay, so we're looking really at contingency plan, essentially looking at the risks involved in running your business. What are you going to do if one of you becomes unwell, or the other person is unable to run the business with you, or you no longer want to run the business because of other circumstances.
Circumstances.
You need to, you need to think who will continue with that business. Do we sell that business, or do we do we look at a family member taking it on? How do we manage that sort of situation in terms of the business? It's like a baby, remember, like you said. So you've got to do something with it at some point. At some stage, you will stop running it.
Yeah.
At some stage, you will.
That's true. Yeah, indeed.
And you'll have clients maybe, or you'll have people that are relying on it on the business. You may have staff, who are now, who you are responsible for. So the question is, what do you do? And succession planning is taking that long-term view, putting in place contingencies to support the business if this situation happens or that situation happens or whatever.
Okay.
There's lots of things to think about in that. You're looking at will writing as well as part of that process. It's not just the business, it's also looking at your will and things of that nature.
Okay. So within that, obviously you are thinking about and doing your strategy and building your business and really writing and drilling down what you need to do. So obviously I suppose that would include contingency if you're sick and if you're the only person that's running that business, I suppose you have to
absolutely. I mean, there's business insurance, is key man insurance, and all these kind of things that one can also take out. But that doesn't actually run your business for you. It provides you with an income during that situation, but it doesn't. So I'd always say it's about looking at your team and your structure, really. Especially if you start to grow and start putting in place support, whether it's additional staff or people that you can rely on or call upon to assist in a situation. Maybe finding a recruitment company that can bring in an interim manager even. I mean, I know it sounds a bit, oh my God, but actually, that's a, I mean, this is me being a little bit creative in your situation. Bringing somebody on board who can actually assist you in that, basically to keep the business operational. Okay, that's
interesting.
But it is one where we would need to sit down and actually start to think about all the options available to you and your particular The service that I provide is very bespoke. Every time I speak to a client, every time I speak to somebody who runs a business, I will be looking at it from the perspective of that individual and what they want and how we can make sure that we're tailoring to their needs, basically. So I'm very what do I call it? I tailor it, basically. So the advice I would give you about contingency planning and succession planning would be different to what I might give to somebody else who might have other needs. It's slightly different.
Different needs, but very bespoke to the business that you're dealing with or the person that you're dealing with.
This is why you need a business. I'm not being funny, but that's where business advisor, a good business advisor, comes in. It is about tailoring it and making sure that you are meeting the needs of that individual and their current situation as well. Because again, each person is different. Each person's it's not a one size.
One size fits all. Scenario.
So here's my question. So I came into you. We have now got a business plan. We're looking at where to go in terms of different funding, whichever streams that we're looking for. And so the question is, how long does that process take with you? Yeah, and are you there for the moment or are you there for a long time? Yeah. So,
oh my goodness me. Right. Let me just say this. First and foremost, it's very much about what you need. Again, like it's back to the individuals, always back to individuals. So our business plan, someone can write a business plan in a month. Someone could take 3 months. Someone could take 6 months. Someone could take a year. I've had various versions of that. It depends on how much work they can do outside of the meetings, because I can support with literally typing up stuff with them as we talk. Or we can give you actions and you can go away and do a lot of the work yourself, which is, my preferred way, because it means that you're investing time and learning.
You're invested and involved in it,
and also it's less expensive with all, for yourself always, really. So you can do more yourself if you can outside. But that's not to say I don't hold hands. I do what I call direct intervention work, and that means, for example, you're uncomfortable sitting in front of a bank or speaking to a bank manager, or you're just uncomfortable, I don't know, dealing with an insurance company or whatever at the beginning of your business. I will be happy to make that phone call for you and with you, and support you in that. I will act as your, for lack of a better word, non-executive director. I can sit with you and be that person to give you that confidence, so that you're not
almost an advocate for your business.
Absolutely, not just trying to field the questions yourself, because I'll be perfectly honest with you, there aren't many questions that they could ask me, and I do mean this genuinely, that I probably couldn't answer without being overly brash. I've done quite a lot of stuff, guys, over the years. So, you know, I feel quite confident that I can answer most questions that a bank, somebody that's querying your business idea with you, that I could answer for you or assist you with. But I guess, that's it.
No,
so you know, I think, okay, so now I've been sold, and we've been working for a while now, and I would say that something has come up that I need to change direction. Where do we start from making that change of direction? I know you're going to say it again.
You know what I'm going to say. Change of direction. Oh my goodness me. So we would really need to look at what's been going wrong, and where we need to sort of and put in place a plan of action, basically, in terms of how we need to address that. Now, it could be that we look at different areas of the business, because things are interrelated. So you've got your HR, you've got your IT, you've got your financial, you've got your operations. So we're looking at different areas, and we would sort of start to do an assessment of each area to get an idea of what's going on. This is for a slightly bigger business model, guys, because some of you may not have these different areas.
I was going to say more existing. That would be more for an existing business.
So it's a smaller business, or just even a sole trader. We would just sit down, have a discussion about the key concerns within the business. I would ask you a series of questions to get an idea of what's been happening. And as I say, then we would put a plan of action in place in terms of what you now need to do in order to rectify certain things. It could be that your sales level is just, you're not achieving your sales targets. Okay, let's sit down and put together a sales forecast. Let's really look at how much you're charging, what the pricing's like. Let's do a bit of a SWOT analysis on your competitors, see what sort of rates they're charging. Reviewing, we have to review the situation a bit. Let's look at the market. Is there really still a market for what you're doing? Do we need to move in a different direction altogether? It's those kind of questions I'd be sort of asking you, really. But again, everything's tailored with me. I tend to sort of sit there and we'll have a discussion about what's going on and slowly start to tease out where the issue is.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the obvious question. What is a SWOT analysis, and how does it work?
Okay, so that's a strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And I'm sure most of you would have at some point heard of that. So strengths is looking at strengths, the areas of strength within your business. So your skill sets, it could be your customers, it could be the product or service that you're offering, those kind of things, your strengths. Pricing is never a strength. Let me just be very, very clear. Never, ever, ever, ever think that it's about price. Okay, it's about quality of service. More so than anything else, and your customer service as well. And that also involves repeat custom. Okay, so when you know that people are coming back to you time and time again, you're doing the right things. Okay, and that's very, very important. And customer service can just sometimes just be ringing your customers up or sending out information to make sure that they're happy with everything that you're offering and that you're doing. So that should be part of your business model anyway, as a matter of course, because that can also help steer you in a different direction, and pivot into a different direction. That's very, very important for that. So customer service. Sorry, can you repeat that again, Hugh? I'm sorry, I've digressed a tad.
Sorry, no, it was the SWOT analysis. The breakdown of SWOT analysis.
So your strengths. So then we have our weakness. Okay, weaknesses. We don't all like to talk about our weaknesses, but everybody's got weaknesses. We've all got things that we enjoy and that we like doing. Some weakness could be around the financials. Some people are not great at bookkeeping. Weakness could be poor cash flow management in terms of how we actually just manage the cash coming in and out of the business. That could be one of our weaknesses. Perhaps we're not great at sales, not good at talking. We feel uncomfortable. Maybe we don't want to do public speaking or whatever. Those are things. Those are weaknesses. Areas that need development. Generally speaking, it's the best way of putting it. I don't like to use the word weakness, but I guess it's the term they use. It's areas that we just need to develop further. It's either we speak or we outsource it. So if you don't address it yourself because you can't, then you need to really look at whether you need to outsource someone, maybe a bookkeeper, to keep things going for you on that front.
Right.
And threats. tend to be the economic, the outside external thing. Pandemics, that's a threat. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a big threat for everybody.
Yeah.
So threat is sort of like a pandemic thing. And opportunities, exactly what it says. Opportunities, being able to spot opportunities in business as an entrepreneur is absolutely essential, because that's how you grow. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want
Thinking
to,
Can you learn that?
Yeah.
Can you learn that? Because
Is that another
yeah,
thing?
is that
I think some people are natural, or natural opportunists. They can see opportunities just because they can. Others need to hone that skill. You need to be kind of looking out and doing a bit of research and reading up on, and just being aware of what's going on around you, and sort of making sure that, if you feel you can actually move into that direction, well, why not? Look at your competitors. That's, a good way to sometimes create an opportunity for yourself is look at what other people are doing. Nothing wrong. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I mean, genuinely, there's no need. There's so much stuff out there, and now that we've got, obviously we have the internet and access to people doing things in so many different ways in so many different countries. There's no reason why you don't spend some time of an evening or on a Sunday morning, as I like to do, just having a look through on the internet and seeing what's happening, and idea, just like that. Brainstorming is a good way as well of coming up with ways of doing
so
things.
basically just making sure that you take some time
Do a bit of
to
research.
actually do that research,
evaluate what you do, what other people do.
Yeah,
I always
just
say that
outside.
to a certain degree, I always say that if you think you can do better, you're already starting on entrepreneurship. The only question is, how much can you do better? How much can you go and find someone like you to help you to do better? So you have actually just said the important words is that you have to evaluate what's out there, and if you think you can do better, you're already on the road. So now you just have to make it into reality.
Exactly. Well,
like I said, I love the word opportunities, and I love opportunities, because that's, for me, when I hear the word opportunity, I hear growth, I hear potential for development, potential for revenue, potential for expanding your business, for diversification. All those things come from the word opportunities in my brain, in my mind, in my head as an American. So I would say to anybody looking to grow and to develop their services, become very opportunistic. When you're walking past something, think about it. I don't know, just you see something on the road, or you see someone doing something. Oh, maybe I could do that. Just be open-minded. To situations and things.
That's a good one. Be open-minded about your business. Don't think that you've got to stick within the realms of where you are.
One thing I just genuinely believe in as well, if you do not apply that, at some point you will continue to be like this. You will never really expand. To become a larger entity, you've got to start becoming an entrepreneur in mind and spirit, and that means thinking like an opportunist to a certain extent. And as an opportunist, they really, really are. You meet any of them, they're very driven by that particular trait, if you like. So I just feel that we need to embrace that within us as much as possible, really. So, and growth essential for sustainability. Don't ever think that just because you're going like that, everything's okay. I'm making some money, so I'm happy. No. You've got one pen. Why don't you see if you can get 2 pens? What's wrong with that? Get 3 pens. Before you know it, you start ending up with lots and lots of zeros at the end of your bank account. So you want to be constantly striving. You shouldn't sort of say, well, I'm satisfied because guess what? I've got 15 clients and I've got 20 clients now and I'm happy. And you're not happy, because those 20 will become 15, 10, 9.
Right.
You have to be pushing forward.
Pushing it more.
There is no such thing as I'm going to relax now. It's, I've done the job. The job is done once you've achieved your objectives. And guess where we go back to that? The business plan.
Business plan. Well, you're saying that there. That's my opportunity now, because obviously there have been people, within the chat here, and I've not shared them all with you yet, but I will do. But this specific one, I will do. Again, somebody's asked, do you believe everyone needs a business plan?
I'm going to say that if you haven't got one, then you should get one. You should spend some time, make some time. As I said, even at just an hour, 2 hours a week and put one together. If you're running a business and you're doing one and you haven't got a business plan, great. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you need one. You don't need it. But if you want to do even better, I'm telling you honestly, spend some time, put one together, and what you've got, you'll suddenly sit and think, Christ, I could actually do this. I can actually have these additional services. I could actually have additional income streams. All of a sudden, by going through that process, it will expand your business because you'll start coming up with different ways of, different types of services maybe that you hadn't thought about. The process of putting it together makes you think like that. It makes you start considering how else you can develop your services. That's why it's a very good thing to do. And marketing.
Wonderful.
The marketing fits within the business plan, although it can be done separately if you just want to focus on sales. And there is a difference between sales and marketing, guys. Just mention that very briefly.
Can you give us a brief, in the difference between the two?
A brief overview of the difference.
Okay.
These are nuggets, guys.
We just asked you the question because some people take it on board that they can just make the statement and walk away.
Right. No. So marketing is about creating awareness. Okay. When you listen to the word marketing, what you are doing is you're letting everybody know we're here in one way or another. You're creating awareness. Sales is when you actually start to pull in the lead and close the deal and actually generate a return. Okay. So that's when you're selling. You've actually managed to take from that awareness. You've got a lead, and then you can actually turn that into an actual sort of sale, if you like, literally. So it's very simple.
So you've been in business for a while and you've had much experience. So what would be
25 years.
One thing that you'd recommend in sales?
Sorry, say that again. Sorry. In
sales, what would be the thing that you would recommend as the skilled practitioner? What would you say is the number one thing people need to learn about sales?
Okay, that's an interesting question. I'm going to just take a few seconds just to think about this, if that's okay.
Of course. I think
we got it.
I just want to make sure I give them a really good answer, good quality answer. So the most important thing about sales, I think it's kind of. Some people will sell something that they don't believe in. Okay, I don't hold to that. I genuinely think that if you're trying to sell something, you should have a belief in that because it comes across. If you just, if you don't believe in what you're doing and don't believe in what you're offering as a product or a service, so you should really have belief in what you're offering as a service or product. I would say that. What's the other word I'd say? I'd probably say that having being personable. I know it sounds silly, but people buy people. We all do. So a lot of selling is about the individual and how you come across and your mannerisms as well, and the way you actually promote your product or services. The after service is very important when it comes to sales. How do you support your clients or your customers after you've sold them a service or product? Because people will talk, and if you've done a bad job in that area, it can and does and will get around. I'm sure you've all heard that one before. So it's very same way you get people saying, well done, that person's absolutely fantastic services, the same way they'll turn around and say, I wouldn't want to use them. They're not very, very good. So, sales is it's a technique as well. I think there's a lot of things involved in your tone of voice, your body language, and the energy, I guess, as well that you give off. If you try and sell something and you're miserable, guys, it ain't gonna sell. But if you sell something and you're, if you're happy, you're on the phone, you've got a good presentation in the way you're sort of speaking to somebody on the phone, you're positive, it comes across really, really well.
So that is also, but that is also about customer service, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you translate that, it is customer service. And the truth about customer service is the people who believe and love what they're doing can sell it to you. Those who don't believe it don't business. So it goes by the by. Yeah. So I firmly believe that, I've been in situations where I've gone somewhere and I've liked a product, and I'm almost their ambassador.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed it. I have no benefit from it, but I'm their ambassador.
Exactly.
And because it's almost that's the sale perception, as in this is so good. Trust me, I've had it. You try it, and you'll like it. So you're actually selling to people. So that's the important thing: is belief in what you are selling.
Yeah. I mean, like anything else, as I said, whether you're actually sort of talking to somebody about a product or a service, or whether they're actually going online and buying something from a website, how you position, somebody's mentioned how you brand it, your logo, your presentation, both either verbally or in terms of a literal sense physically, is as important. You need to do both to a high standard. But believing is very important as well, because at some point the customer will speak to you and say, what do I'm interested in this. You've got to be able to say to them, yeah, this is something that's going to work for you. I do think it's absolutely perfect for everything you might need.
All right. So now I'm going to ask you the question about your business, because you've recently started this and we would like to hear about you. So the floor is yours. Tell us about your business, what you do.
Right. So guys, I provide business advice and support to people who are looking to start up in business. It could be a case of you've just got an idea and you're thinking, oh, I'd love to have a go at something. I can help you really look at that idea and nurture that idea and turn it into something real. Okay, so I will take an idea and make it real for you. That's what I do, because I've done it lots of times for lots of people. Alternatively, I work with people businesses who are already operational, and we can look at scalability, diversification, expansion, those kind of things. We can look at internal issues going on in the organization. Obviously, access to funding as well. That's a big part of what I'm, obviously about the business plan. Part of it is central to that. So those kind of things, essentially. I'm here to be your business friend. Okay.
Okay. So,
which is very good indeed. With all the experience that you, Monica has, you'd be hard pressed really to find somebody with such experience that is there and willing now to help you succeed
with a genuine affinity to what you're trying to do. And we have asked for Monica to help us, and because of what we've received, we just felt that it was necessary to inform you all that if you are looking at your business and you are looking at where to diversify. And before I even finish that sentence, what does diversify mean? What does that diversity, what does that mean to you?
Very much looking at different market opportunities for your product. It could be that you take the product you've already got and look at another market for it, or it could literally mean looking at a brand new market for your business.
Okay. All right.
And then for me,
you're selling pens, and then you say, well, we're going to start selling pens.
Yeah. Brilliant. How can people get in contact with you, Monica? They're listening to you this evening thinking, my word, where has this person been all my life? How can people get in contact with you to continue that conversation and to try and get to work with you?
Well, guess what? As you've rightly said, I've just recently started doing sort of advice work, because I've been running businesses and doing other things before. So what I would say to you at this stage is please feel free to contact me either via my email or via my mobile number. I am in the process of putting together a Fan Dabby Dozy Whiz website. I hope you're all going to really love it, because the person that I've got doing the work is an absolute gem, and I do mean that. And Lorraine will testify. He's almost like a counselor. I've never met a web designer that when you're talking to him, it feels like you're speaking to a counselor. He's just so calm, just wonderful. It's like floating.
Yes.
So one of the things also that I would say.
Your number.
So it's 07 375 69 604. That's 07 375 69 604.
Leave it there for a while.
So what I would also just very quickly say to you, thank you first of all, Hugh and Law for inviting me on this evening.
It's our pleasure.
I can only say that working with you in the last few weeks has been absolutely wonderful. And I thank you both for giving me the opportunity to come in here this evening to talk to everybody. It was a bit rather impromptu, guys, so, you know, I've done what I'd like to say is a reasonably decent job. It's not as good as I'd like, because I'm that kind of person, I'm a perfectionist.
You've done amazing.
But at the same time, what I'd say is that I have got lots and lots of experience, you know, and really wanting just to share, okay, and see that our community, not just our community, but anybody that wants help, you know, does. Okay,
so there is one question I'm going to share before we go, because you know, how do you know the right clients for you, or the correct coach for you? This is a good question.
Clients. With a coach, I'm going to start with the coach one. It's about having an affinity. You know, you've got to like working with somebody, because you're going to see them on a regular basis, generally speaking. So it's about, you know, feeling comfortable with that person. It's very, very important. Then you're more receptive to whatever information that the individual has got to pass on to you. That's central. As a coach, our job is to support, facilitate, encourage, nurture, and motivate. That's what I like to do. And one of the things you'll get with me is motivation. Because I love what I do. I'm not just saying it, I genuinely love what I do. So that's the coach side. In terms of, you know, other things, I guess. Ooh. Well, I mean, that's my main thoughts anyway.
Yeah.
So in terms of someone, so as again, I've come to you to talk about my business. So who am I going to find when I knock on that door? What is going to attract me to do business with you? So there you go. I'm switching it around now.
Okay. Well, I am a studied accredited business advisor. I have got 25 plus years working with businesses. I have set up 3 businesses. My last one, I guess you could say I ran it for 10 years. I probably generated about 5 million over that time. I've been in lots of different business situations. And I guess hopefully you'll actually enjoy working with me and watching your business grow and improve. You know, that's basically it.
And then the final question, Hugh, this is the usual question that we ask our guests before they leave, and I think it's quite
it's quite apt.
Oh, I missed one question. How do I know the right clients for me?
Yes, and you know the right clients for you, the right coach.
You know what? The right clients is somebody who is motivated, committed, and wants to do a good job with their business. That's the right sort of client.
Yeah,
that's another client.
That's another client.
I know it's not working, unfortunately. That's just how it is. But so the point I'm making is that that's the right client. Somebody who wants to make, you know, genuinely wants to make their business work, and you know, are serious about what they want to do. If you're not serious, I'm the wrong kind of coach. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's brilliant.
That is brilliant. Thank you. So the final question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Supporting BBR.
Supporting BBR, supporting others. I mean, you know
what? BBR, you've got over 10,000 members, guys, and I can't tell you what an amazing achievement that is.
Thank you very much.
I would love to see BBR become, you know, a leading light to support Black businesses within the UK. That's what I envisage, not just the UK, but internationally. And I feel that there's going to be a lot of fantastic opportunities. I'd say to you guys, please all become members. They need you to support them to develop it. They need the funds to grow BBR. BBR requires money to make it happen. Okay, and we're looking at another MOBO for business. Now, can you just imagine what that would be like to have a BBR MOBO variant? You know,
yes,
listen, we've got ambition,
we've got
and guess what?
But we want them on you, directly on you.
That's the person there, right there. See her? That's the one there. She's the one who's going to help us to make those visions become reality.
Yeah.
And we're not messing about. We want those things to be reality. We will help you to help yourselves.
Yeah. But again, if you want,
we hope to, we hope to set up scholarships as well as part of that. So again, as if members can become, people can start putting into working with us, be sort of registered members, not just members.
That's
registered
right.
members.
Yeah.
Then
Indeed.
that means that we can offer scholarships,
music scholarships,
education scholarships to, young aspiring children. We want to set up, there's a range of different things that, as a 10,000 strong organization, we can achieve.
We can do. Yeah.
The sky's the limit, and it's we also we have affiliates. And we have partners,
yes.
We have collaboration. So, basically we've opened the door to make a lot of things happen. And, Monica has been gracious enough to give us the support we needed to take it to the next level. So we're here.
We are here, and with and with all our collaborations with people. But Monica, for this evening, it is all about you. Okay, and it has been a pleasure to have you on tonight, sharing all your nuggets of information. And I hope people did have their pens and notepads.
And if you don't worry, you can watch it on the BBR group and also on the YouTube channel. So it will be there. We're not taking it off. We're just going to put a skin on it so that you know where it's about, and then we take it from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Monica, it has been a pleasure, and
Absolute
I know
pleasure.
that people will find you of value. And if your phone is not ringing, I want to know why. And again, I say this every week, and I'm going to continue saying it. The people that we bring on to the show to speak with us and are to share their knowledge with you, and they are of caliber, of credit, and are vastly experienced in what they do. And they all have the same common denominator, which is to help you and help us grow as a people, all right? And to have visions for ourselves of becoming bigger, all right? And servicing everyone, all right?
So more Alan Sugars out there, guys, yeah? Although not the character.
We're going up all the way.
So we will share all information in regards to how you can contact Monica within the various different areas. And Monica, once again,
thank you. Love and respect.
Thank you, my darling. We'll talk to you again soon. Everyone, we've had a beautiful evening, and you know what? And this was just on a very short notice. So Monica literally knew about this around about 4:30. Yeah. So to come in straight from that to give such good information and such a wonderful person that, when we work with people, the one thing that we look for is the character, what that person represents and what that person wants to represent. And Monica, right from the off, wanted to support our community in the business that she knows well. So you know what? Take advantage of that. Lorraine, can you put the number on that again? Yes, I will.
Yeah. And call Monica. Get involved with your business. Look at the improvement that you can be made if you contact Monica and see where you can go from there. Have a conversation. You never know.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Well, the first 30 minutes is free. You don't even have to get paid for it. It's all free.
Oh my word. There you go. First 30 minutes are free. Okay. What are you all waiting for? But we look forward, and hopefully you will have a great week ahead. And Monica, thank you once again.
Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care, guys. Have a blessed week, everyone.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.